In this video, I'm exploring the #1 product for the month of March 2025 on Product Hunt called Cider. What caught my attention is the deep research aspect and how it can analyze like a human. So let's go ahead and check it out. So here we are on the website of cider.ai. Right on their landing screen, you can see they have mentioned this tagline, deep research in minutes. And what caught my attention is the next line, which is human-like research with smart highlights and notes, visualized reports. This is similar to how you would do in ChatGPT, and that's why I got a little curious as to what could be very different from the tools that we have already been using for a while. So as you see on the landing page itself, they have a search bar which is directly asking you for an action. So you can start your research right away. I haven't really tried it yet, so we will see how that goes. And here I can see they have already given some social proof, which is very nice on the landing page. And they have a demo and a meat cider, not sure what that is. And as you scroll down, you get this beautiful looking website, which is currently a trend. You have all these simplistic, minimal looking UI designs. They explain all sorts of use cases, and that's what I see on this page. All right, so they seem to have an AI browser extension as well. I want to try their web app version, so I'm currently just scrolling through to see what else do they have. So I think what I want to try is at the top over here, and since I can enter my question but not really enter it, so I'm not sure what would happen if I type in a question. So let's go ahead and try it out. The topic I want to research is gig economy. In the most simplest terms, as I understand gig economy, is basically people who do gigs. Now, it can be a one-time work like a freelancer, or it can be like a recurring work like an Uber driver. Now, I had done this for one of my case study assignments in the past, and during that time, I had used Google extensively to understand the gig economy landscape. I wanted to use that same topic and use it here to see how can it really give me this analysis. So let's go ahead and type in this question about gig economy and see what it does. I have typed in my question. So I'm asking, I want to analyze the gig economy. I want to understand how it works and why it became so popular. So let's go ahead and press enter and see what happens. All right, so as soon as I press enter, I am asked to log in here, and I can see that I have 30 free credits every day, so I should be able to get some responses here. I'll go ahead and log in. I logged in and this is a screen I came to, although in between I saw some error screen. I wasn't sure what exactly that was, but I'm redirected to their dashboard, so I'm about to enter a signed in experience. I'll just go ahead and click on get it, and what has happened is the prompt from my landing page is not persisted here, so that seems to be the case here. I think I'll have to type it again. And this is their dashboard. This is very similar to how you see ChatGPT, and I want to really understand what will be the difference between this and ChatGPT. All right, I just noticed this here. We have gig economy analysis. So looks like there is a temporary bug in the system because it did not direct me to that same analysis. So let's click on this and we'll see what happens here. I'm going to skip all the user guides that they have here right now, but I'll just go ahead and see what has happened so far. So I can see that how can I assist you today? And okay, I thought it would persist the prompt, but it has not. So I'm entering the same prompt again. I want to analyze the gig economy. I want to understand how it works and why it became so popular. So this time I'm hoping it's going to help me in research. So while this is happening, there is a side panel here for file, and there is another side panel here for notes. And in between, you have this chat kind of interface. And here's what has happened. This is my question here at the top, and this is giving me a result here, which is gig economy is an economic system where temporary jobs are common and companies tend to hire independent contractors and freelancers instead of full-time employees. It's a system where people engage in freelance or side employment and blah, blah, blah. And then it gives me some resources to understand this further. Okay, so that sounds interesting. It's a good start, I would say, although it has given me quite short summary, which in a way, it's a good starting point. Sometimes what happens in a chat-like interface, if your response is way too long, you can get lost in it. You have to spend a lot of time understanding what it really means. But in this case, I'm pretty sure they're trying to summarize it, but also give some citations. I can save this as a note, okay? I can copy this, I can quote this, I can regenerate it. And then there's another option to select the source. So Web search is already selected, and then I have knowledge. I'm not sure what knowledge is really here. There is files, so I can also provide some sources of my own, but right now it was relying on the web search, I believe. And if I want, I can enter new chat, I can export this, and then I have an option to choose the model. Now this is interesting. So I have tried a similar tool in the past before called Finder, and they have a very strikingly similar model. It is about managing your research, and they also have this option to switch between different models. And what I found during that exploration is that based on different model, your responses are widely different. And so here they are using Cider Fusion, and I could probably try and ask the same question with, let's say, another model. So if I choose Claude 3.5 and I ask the same question, this is now Claude 3.5 Haiku working in the background to give me an answer. Now, this is what I mean. As it is generating the answer, you can see the length of the response. This is very different from what you see in the Cider Fusion's model. So what might be happening here is this model is trying to answer in a very short and concise manner compared to what typical models are doing, which is kind of lengthy answer. One thing that I'm noticing here is that Claude definitely has given me a lengthier answer, but it seems to have a lot more details than what I got inside of Fusion. And so that's like the absolute first response that I get based on my question here. Now, from this moment on, I think what would happen is you would start questioning more and more. You can add your own sources from elsewhere. If you have written something down by yourself, then you can upload it here. So I want to try something here. Let me go ahead and give some links here as my file or sources, and then see what happens to my responses. So I had written a case study on gig economy workers, basically a bank for gig economy workers. And during that time, I had done my research and I had tried to summarize what the problems of these gig economy workers were. So I just want to take this link and click on this and paste it here. Now, what will happen, in my opinion, is this becomes a source, and I think I could question the source now. So it has completed the analysis of the link that I just provided. When I was doing this case study earlier, I had done some research and tried to do some market sizing. And during that time, as you can see in the screen here, the global economy was expected to grow about 455 billion US dollars by 2023. And then the neobank itself, basically the digital banking solutions for the gig economy workers, was approximately expected to be 400 billion by 2026. What I want to do now is try to understand whether these numbers are somewhat true. Has gig economy really grown that much, and what is the current landscape? So let's go ahead and check this out. Now here's my question to Cider. I'm asking them to check the link that I have provided, and in that link I have mentioned the market sizing section. So I want Cider to go and check that link and see if those numbers are still true and what is the current landscape for the gig economy globally. So let's see how this really works. And in my sources, I have selected web search, knowledge, and files as well. So I'm going to press enter. So here's a response from Claude 3.5. This is how I get the response. Let me search for the latest information on the global gig economy and verify and provide an updated perspective. Now, in the original document, that is a link I'm referring to, the original projection was 455 billion by 2023, and this is the link that it is trying to give me as citation. And it says that in the recent market research indicates that the actual market size has exceeded the expectation, and as of 2024, the global gig economy market size is estimated as USD 556 billion. This is significantly higher than the original 2023 projection, and there are future projections as well. Now, the case study's initial market sizing has proven to be conservative, with the actual market size surpassing the predicted figure. Now, this is exactly what you do during your research for product case studies or any sort of research required for your product discovery phase. One of the main things that you have to do is estimations of these markets. Now, that's exactly what the goal was with my case study here. We wanted to build a neobank for gig economy workers in India, and the idea was that traditional banking sector is not sufficient for the new gig economy workers, which means you have to build a product that will serve this market, which is of the gig economy workers. Now, in order to build this product, you have to first make an estimation whether the market truly exists or not. Otherwise, you will be building a product that nobody wants. And in that case, you have to do a little bit deeper research and understand how this gig economy is really working. So when I was doing doing this research back in those days, I understood that the market size was quite large in that sense, and it was expected to grow globally. And I had published this in 2021, but my case study was actually for 2019. Since then, the data has changed significantly. They have also given me some references, so I could check that link if I want to. And this is from Business Research Insights, and that's where the data has been pulled from. So yeah, that's the number that I got here. And then they also have a secondary source, which also roughly confirms the same number, I believe. And that's also coming from cognitive market research. Now, one of the things I have to be careful when I'm doing this research is not to blindly copy these numbers, because I'm aware that these models are still in work in progress. If I want to actually use this number in my case study, I would have to make sure that those numbers are real. And I just accidentally added a note here. And what I can see is if I want to make a note of this number, let's say I want to do for future projections and estimates are here, I can just quickly add a note. And that's very nice little feature, because when I'm doing research, I want to keep this in mind and then use these notes for my actual case study. So when I'm doing a draft for the case study, these are the numbers that I will be using, and eventually you will see it in a case study document like this. So I'm back to their dashboard, and on the left hand side, I can see they have a chat feature. Deep research is what we just tried out. And then we have create option. So I can create a lot of other things. It seems like the tool has a lot more features than what it told on Product Hunt. So I can see in the create feature, they have AI image generator, text remover, in paint, photo eraser. So anything related to image editing. The other aspect is basically AI essay writer, understanding your thoughts, sparking your inspiration, crafting your articles. So let's go ahead and give it a try. Let's see what kind of essays can we get on the most recent hot topic of tariffs. So write an article on tariffs. So I'm going to click on enter and see what happens. Now I'm on a page where I have no idea whether it's actually working, but there's only one small UI indication that it was loading there. It says that I have crafted an article titled The Impact of Tariffs on Global Trade. It dives into the types of tariffs, the economic functions. Honestly, I feel like it's comprehensive, but there's always room to highlight specific case studies or recent examples. I can only imagine how crowded this content marketing function is going to be if I can generate articles that easily. So here I can see that there's an introduction on how the tariffs work and then what kind of tariffs are there. So types of tariffs available and economic functions, impact on global trade. Honestly, this is pretty good. Now you would have to wonder whether this is accurate or not. So that's the feature of AI essay writing, which is quite interesting. The important thing here is when I'm actually doing this deep research, the accuracy of the data is very important. Secondly, the features that they have here. So I could have files and sources that I can provide. So something of my own. And then it also does web search. So it goes to the internet and searches for the recent data. And then you have an option to just note it. Now, this is honestly quite important because if I'm doing case studies, I want to have this research data available at all times. So that was a product of Cider.ai. Obviously, I have not done a very comprehensive in-depth analysis of the effectiveness of the tool. My goal was to simply try out the feature in the shortest time possible. But if you're doing research and you're going to use this data, you may want to verify that accuracy and information that you get in the response before you submit your case studies or your research papers. So don't just blindly trust these tools just because you get a nice response. Sometimes it has happened to a lot of other people as well. The data can be inaccurate or the citation could be incorrect compared to the response that you see. And this has happened before as well. The models are known to hallucinate. It can generate information that was not present. This used to happen quite a lot in the past, so you may want to be careful. Other than that, from a UI perspective, I think the product is quite well designed. Apart from the deep research feature, I did not really try the other features that they had for image generation, text to video, and all of those features. I find there are other products doing it much better. So it will be interesting to see how all these tools are going to survive in this landscape of current AI boom. Alright, that will be all for the video. If you have tried Cider.ai and you have used it for a specific use case, do let me know in the comments, and thanks for watching this video.